Welcome to another episode of Moon Monkey. On this episode, we'll be talking about the Mick Jackson directed movie Denial.
So Denial is based on the true life story of the libel trial of Deborah Lipstadt and David Irving, the man who brought the libel case against her. Basically, David Irving was for people who don't know, was a British historian who did a lot of books about the Third Reich and Adolf Hitler. And Deborah Lipstadt wrote a book about Holocaust denial in which she named him as a Holocaust denier. And so after this book's publication, David Irving brought a libel case against her for defamation for saying he wasn't a Holocaust denier. So that's basically, this film just tells the story of the brief lead up to that and the trial and what happened after the trial. So yeah, it's kind of like a lot of these historical dramas. There's not a lot of action in it. They've tried to make it a little more exciting in the way the trial played out, because obviously just sitting listening to a trial is not particularly interesting. It's just people giving evidence and counter evidence and that kind of thing.
You're right. On paper, it doesn't seem the most inspiring watch. Sitting there in the movie theatre, but they create such tension and such drama between the characters, and I think that has a lot to do with the performances of the actors. Like Timothy Spall as David Irving it does a really good performance.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic as David Irving. I mean, this is a guy who's now he's pretty much a pariah. He's been castigated from historical circles.
To be fair, when you said we're going to go and see this, I didn't actually know a whole lot about him, which is probably really good.
Yeah,
considering that nobody talks about him now.
Yeah,
and Timothy Spall's been going round, and he said that he's found it quite hard to advertise this movie and to get, because he's like, I don't really want. He wants people to go and see it at the same time, but he doesn't want to advertise this guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's quite a tough character to play, but he does it very well.
Well, that's even one of the things they discussed in the movie, because at the time of the trial, which I think was early 2000s, this trial took place, the problem that they had was by going to trial, you're essentially giving this guy publicity, which is exactly what he wants for his views about the Holocaust. So it's, a difficult choice, because you're saying, I want to go to trial and prove that he's a Holocaust denier, but I don't want to give him the oxygen of publicity to do that. And I guess this film is kind of the same. Again, they're 15 years later, you're kind of bringing up the same story. So again, making him famous for a new audience. But hopefully, not famous popular, but I mean you're bringing his name back up again. Yeah. People are discussing it again.
But it's highlighting a way to show that he was wrong.
Yeah.
So it's not...
But I thought, Timothy Spall's performance was really good in this, because even though he's a somewhat despicable figure, and it shows you him, talking to far-right groups and making jokes about the Jews and the Holocaust, but there was also something tragic about him, because he's defending himself, and he's obviously so egotistical, and he believes that he's right. And you see him in court defending himself while she has kind of a team of lawyers with her, and you just think, he's a kind of sad guy. That, his views are terrible, but in some ways there's a kind of pathos there of, it's a little bit of tragic what happened to him. Because obviously an intelligent guy, speaks German and spent a lot of his life going through these records, and, there's a certain amount of intellect involved in writing these historical books, but it's just a shame that he had that viewpoint that was kind of colouring what he wrote. Rachel Weisz
was very good
as Deborah Lipstadt,
and also our main lawyer was Tom Wilkinson, who was, again, I thought, really not one of the two main characters in the movie, Tom Wilkinson, but a fantastic performance again.
Oh yeah, he did a great performance, because at first in the film he's she thinks that he's not interested in this story and he's not affected by the fact that it's Holocaust, but as it goes on you learn that he really is. But he said, I have to be just focused on the facts, I can't let emotions play any part in this.
Some of the best scenes as well were the conflicts between the lawyers and Deborah.
Yeah.
Which again was she was wanting to go on the stand and see her point of view.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to do that, and it was some of the best scenes were them arguing together about how they should go about the trial.
Well, she's kind of angry. She's kind of visibly angry about what's happening and the fact that someone can stand up and say the Holocaust didn't happen. Whereas her barristers and her lawyers are saying, look, we can't get emotional. We have to just look at the case and, bring the case as it is.
I think it's still a very, very relevant movie right now because it's about freedom of speech and how David Irving essentially tried to stop her from having her freedom of speech and calling him out on his lies, in a way. Yeah,
well, that's the thing. At the heart of the film, there is like a really interesting debate, like you say, about freedom of speech,
but also
how you know things to be true, like how you can prove if people write something, like how you verify it.
It's also about like I would say. Right now, it's relevant as well because it's about like core truths that the majority of the population accept.
Yeah.
Especially like when we're now in a kind of post-truth kind of era and post-factual. It's like certain things that shouldn't need to be proved are having to be proved.
Yeah.
Like climate change and stuff like that. People are saying, "Oh, that's not real." When like the majority of science accepts, it is. It's like going back to that. It should be an accepted thing that the Holocaust did happen.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing about this movie is because it's like slimmed down for time. Like the court case took place over many weeks. Like this movie kind of brushes over the main points of it and shows you some important moments of the trial. But I think what I guess they hope will happen is people will watch the movie and then learn a little bit about like what the trial was about and what happened in a bit more detail and try and think about it for themselves. But the film is a good kind of introduction to this case because obviously it's a complex issue. It's hard to get through that in a brief time.
I thought like they did it well. Over like doing a court case in a movie is probably quite tough to do, especially one of that length. But I thought it was done very well, and the performances by all the cast were really fantastic, and you had that drama and that tension throughout it. I was never sitting going, "Oh, another day at court." I was gripped.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a pretty big subject. Like, so I guess that in itself makes it kind of interesting. It's not like a court case on something minor. It's like a pretty major thing. If this was like they say in the movie, if this had gone the other way and they'd essentially given people the right to deny the truth or deny the Holocaust. But it didn't go that way in the end. One thing that I did hear from people who were involved said in reality it was not as close as it's portrayed in the film. It was actually very easy because there was no way that they knew from the beginning there's no way he could possibly win with the things that he'd printed and said. There's no way that evidence could have gone any other way, but obviously in the film it's dramatized a little bit. But yeah, like a very important film on an important subject. I wouldn't say you would need to watch it on the big screen, but I would say if you're interested in the subject and you want this kind of introduction to it, it's definitely worth checking out on television or DVD.
Yeah, I mean, I'd recommend it. It's not it's quite a tough watch in some scenes, but it's very good. It's very good performances really as well. Like it's a tough story to do on screen, but I think like the actors and the director.
Yeah, they had a great cast. So yeah, that was our review of Denial. Thanks for listening. We'll be back with another review very soon.